you know that it's like 86 days to sell a house in Phoenix, Arizona nowadays? Buyers, you are gaining negotiating power in 10 different cities in Arizona with rates bouncing but still lower than most of the past year. Now may be your chance to lock in before supply builds further. For sellers, competition is climbing, pricing strategies stretching, and patience are critical. In hotspots like Gilbert or Scottsdale, you still have leverage, but it won't last if supply keeps rising like this trend. At last, but not least, with rate projected to hold near 6.4%, listing prices flattening, and the slowest price growth in years, today's housing market looks very different than the boom we saw just a few years ago. So, is market crashing? The Arizona housing market is sending some mixed signals this week, and both buyers and sellers need to pay attention. Alright, so over the last 2 months, sellers have seen momentum, but the wave is slowing down fast. The Cromford Market Index actually rose just 3.1% this month, down from actually 5.9% last week, so almost double. Right? That's a clear sign that the market is losing steam. In fact, 10 out of the 17 major cities in Arizona just shift back in favor. Guess what? The buyer. The buyer is now in much favor compared to the last 2 months. The big reason? Supply increased faster than demand. Supply increased faster than demand. More listings are hitting the market nowadays, but the buyers are not showing up at the same pace. Surprisingly, right? And we hear a lot that the interest rate goes down and we think the demand gonna boost up. But at the same time, it's also giving the seller a reason to sell the house. So with that, let's talk more about the mortgage rate, okay? Mortgage rate is actually playing a huge role in today's market. Right before the Fed recent rate cut, we saw that the rate dropped to 6.11%. That's actually a 10-month low, the lowest since November last year. But since then, they shot back up since the Fed announced that the rate cut is actually go up to 6.39% already. This quick of the swing has cooled off the buyer excitement. I mean, this 6.11 give them so much confidence of purchasing moving forward. And then after the Fed say, hey, we're gonna cut the rate, all of a sudden, all the buyer excitement gone. Alright, so surprisingly, and we definitely gonna keep following this trend to see what is the impact, the real impact of the interest rate to the demand. Let's break down to the cities level. Looking across the city, here's the snapshot. We have 13 cities that is actually improved to the sellers. We have Gilbert is actually number 1. Scottsdale, Peoria, Fountain Hills, Mesa, and Tempe. The 4 cities that improving for the buyers is actually Paradise Valley, Glendale, Golden X, Cape Creek, and Maricopa. As you know, Maricopa has been the bottom of the bottom for many months, okay? Since I don't even remember since when, but I think it's right after the interest rate go higher in May 2022, it has been like this. And Maricopa actually only 47.5%. 47.5, that's the lowest. If you remember, below 90 is the buyer's market, and Maricopa is the worst of the worst. Overall, we have 7 sellers market, 4 balanced market, and 6 buyers market. The balanced market, we're talking about Mesa, Phoenix, Glendale, and Peoria. Those are the balanced market. But overall, we see that that's pretty much a good mix of some sellers market, some buyers market, and a good amount of the balanced market. This indicating that the market is not crashing. The balance is the one that's shifting. So it's not crashing at all, because if it's crash, every single city has to be in the buyer's market. As of right now, we still have 7 in the seller's market, 6 in the buyer's market. So it's a very balanced shift. What about days on market? If we take a look at the average days on market, the story becomes clearer. For closed sales, home on average sell for 86 days, still neutral, but very close to the red zone, which is the alarm, right? The dangerous zone, which is more than 90 days. So we're gonna continue following that to see whether it's reaching this or not. For active listing, the average days that it active is now 96, also very close to a 100-day threshold. Why the sudden dip this month? A flood of new listings. There's a lot of new listings for some reason. Everyone after summer, September, October is normally the best time to sell, and that's the reason why there's a lot of people know about it, and therefore they want to sell the house at this time. That's the reason why we see that there's a lot of supply on market now. And that's not a good news at all, okay? It means fresh homes, whatever the homes available newly this month, are dragging down the average, while the older listings sit longer because the buyers tend to see the house that newly on the market. So that's enough for the Arizona market update. Let's go to the national level. So, and then in front of you right here is the mortgage rate projection from three different company, organization, Fannie Mae, MBA, and Wells Fargo. And then we see the average of all. And we're going to talk about the average mostly. As you see here, there's a projection is quarter 3 of 2025 is about 6.68, which is about right? Quarter 4 is going to be lower. Quarter 1 is going to be lower, and quarter 2 is where you actually get 6.40. Now, when you talk to here, a lot of you are going to say, okay, I'm going to wait until quarter 2 to get that rate lower. Now, here's the fact. From 6.68 to 6.4, you're not going to get a lot of difference in terms of monthly payment. Your interest payment is not the same. It's not much different. It's not, of course, it's not the same, but it's not much different. How do I know that? For example, let's go to here, the mortgage calculator. So let's say that you buy home by, let's say 500, right? And you put out 100,000. That means you have a loan amount of 400. Now, let's say if we do 6.68%, you see 30 years, we're going to leave everything here zero for now, okay, for sake of calculation, so that we now compare only the principal. So we're going to have the monthly payment of 2.285. Here's the thing. If you change the interest rate to 6.4, you're going to have about 2,500. So that's about only $100 difference between the two. Yes, for some of you, it's going to be a worth of wait, okay? But when you wait, here's the thing. Other people also wait. And potentially when the market has a lower interest rate, right, this pull more competition back to the market. And that time, maybe you will not be able to get the good negotiation like this time. So balance your risk, right? Of course, talk to the real estate agents, talk to the loan officer so that you know exactly what you need to do. Feel free to talk to me as well. I'm going to give you the strategy that fits your best interest. So we go next to second, we're going to look at the list price. If you look at from early 2023, the median list price have been moving sideways, showing little to no upward push. Okay, you see it's go up here in July 2023, go 440, it's go down, and it's go up again. July 2024 is 437, it's go down again, it's go up again to 439. In July, a little bit increase, but overall you see, if you zoom out, you're going to see that this trending, this going up and down, up and down, up and down is within a window. So it doesn't change a lot compared to 2021 or 2020, 2019 and 17, right? It's a growth. It's a clear growth trend right here. Versus here is a clear growth trend right here, versus here is a flat line. So there's not much change in price. What does that mean? That means if you buy a house in 2022 or 2023 or 2024, and if you're thinking about selling at this time for any reason, well, you may not have any equity to sell. You may end up paying to sell. So discuss with your agent as well to see whether it is a good time to sell. I actually talked to 2 different sellers last week, and my recommendation for them is do not sell. Try to figure something else. Maybe we do renting, maybe we do refinancing, getting the cash, right? Maybe we just let it sit vacant. Maybe right now is not the time for you to move to different house, because unless you're willing to lose, right? So calculate that with your agent as well to see how much you lose if you choose to sell, right? And then see whether it's worth it to make the move. All right. So next, we are going to looking at the home price growth. Okay, on the left here is a percentage of change, and here is throughout the year. Every green has a positive growth, and red is a negative growth. This pricing is depreciating. As you can see, the hottest time to grow price grow is about January 2024 and February. Okay, and then after that, there's a clear downtrend. And as June of 2025, we have only about almost 1.9%. This is, we see that every single year, the growth of home price decrease. So that at the national level. Like I said, what does that mean to the buyers and the seller? What it means to the buyer is this: you get the negotiation power in a lot of cities in Arizona, with rates keep going up and down, but still lower than most of the last year, right? Now maybe it's a good time for you to not only getting a lower interest rate compared to last year, but also still have negotiating power, which is important because the buyer doesn't have negotiation power for such a long time. Seller competition is actually on the rise, especially during this time right here. So you have to price very strategically. Maybe provide some staging, and the best is to provide a massive amount of marketing. Okay, if you want to sell your house correctly, you have to massively have a good marketing strategy to be able to advertise your house to the market. And most importantly, you have to be patient with the process. Don't rush the process. Remember, on average, there's 86 days to sell. Unless your agent do not do anything, then you should be panicking. But if your agent is working on the marketing, you're just waiting for the buyers to come. For Gilbert and Scottsdale, the seller, you do have some leverage there. So be acting fast, don't wait. because this level of supply won't last forever. If you are interested in receiving a weekly market update, feel free to go to this website right here. Or you can go just to go to the page magicalsuccessweekly.com, go to the market update right here, and you will be able to see all the market updates that I have for previous week, and you will be able to sign up for and receiving the weekly email as well. Well, thank you so much everyone for watching today's episode, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.